Hey, Hazer, what's going on?
Good, not too much there, Andrew, by yourself.
Good. So we're getting into the second half of the season now. That win in Halifax, I mean, can you guys use that to sort of drive momentum into this second half to start stacking some wins together?
100%. I think, because we talked about it after in Halifax after there, you kind of look, again, historically, when you look back, there's moments in seasons where you can say, okay, that was the point. We're going to try and use this as a point. Like I say, we found we're competitive and we're battling in different ways. We lose a close one that's a shootout the week before, and then we lock things down a little bit, grind out a very tight, again, another battle, and win by one. So we're starting to figure our stuff out, and yeah, we're going to use that as some momentum and see where it takes us. Again, every week's a different challenge. This team is going to be really tough. But yeah, we want to use what we did well in the last 2 weeks and continue to move forward with.
I mean, you talk about figuring some things out. What have you, as the head coach of this team, figured out about this group from week one and training camp to where you are now, 8 games in?
That we can't let up. As a staff, there's, like I say, we're in a stretch right now where we haven't had a break since the start of training camp. And there's been again, we've missed a couple practices through the Christmas break. And we're kind of nicked and we're kind of banged up a little bit, which is fine, which is what happens. So we kind of look at sometimes taking the foot off the gas a little bit at practice on a Tuesday and leading up to it. And we kind of said to ourselves, we said to the group, we can't do that because our backs are against the wall. We play better when our backs against the wall. So we're pushing each other. We're going to continue to push each other. Both as a staff, we're going to make sure that we're doing whatever it takes to make sure they're prepared. And the players themselves, we're asking to make sure we're going to push you at practice, so go, and continue to do the work you're doing at home.
What have you made of Ryan Lanchberry? I mean, he's tied with Connor Fields in point production, and I think you expect the kind of points that Fields he's put up. But Lanch, I mean, he seems to have really taken a step forward in what's still a pretty young lacrosse career. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, but he's historically, if you look out through his younger career in junior and such, he's been a guy that's been able to produce on the offensive end. And he's in a role that we feel, and certainly he's paying dividends in. He can control the pace of the game. He sees the floor well. He's fine. He finds his teammates when the opportunity presents itself. So he has the ability to put the ball in the back of the net. So he's just playing with a lot of confidence, and his teammates around him are doing a good job helping him get through it.
Awesome. Thanks, Hazer.
No problem. Thanks.
Hey, Coach, congrats on moving into fifth place all time and wins. That had to be a cool milestone for you and also in a great fashion, right? Like 5-1 run in the fourth. You hold on late. What were so pivotal there in those final 15 minutes in terms of adjustments that your team capitalized on?
You know what? I think not necessarily adjustments. Hachi played really well. He made a lot of big saves, especially in that kind of last stretch where they had a couple opportunities and then you got a couple more opportunities late. He was really good. Defensively, we locked it down a little bit better. I thought we were able to get on hands a little bit more, control the gaps that we weren't doing a good job the week before. And offensively, it was. We don't normally go for lefts. So it was a bit of an adjustment for those guys, but they just kind of stuck to the process and believed in the process, and they dropped at the end of the day. Fieldsy had a good run there where one dropped, two dropped, find Smitty for a third, and just everything just seemed to fall. I thought Warren played exceptionally well on their side as well. And he made some remarkable saves that we could have had a lot better opportunities or put a few more points, but he played well. So our guys just kind of stuck with it. They didn't panic, and they got rewarded for it.
So Colorado coming off the opposite type of game of you, another home and home, but they had a lead. They lost it in the fourth on the road against Albany. What are you expecting from that group that, again, right around the 500 mark, of, a game over 500 at this point in the year, on how pivotal this game also is for them?
Yeah, their season right now is a complete contrast to what they were last year, and they're playing so unselfishly that I know they're going to bounce back and not have, you know, look to not have that two goal or two loss in a row here. So they're going to come out all firing on all cylinders here. Again, Dylan Ward is an elite goaltender, and he's playing to that standard this year. And their offense, add back Ryan Lee is just add in Will Malcolm is just at a different level. So unselfish, they attack real quick. Um, they're going to be good. They're going to be real good. And defensively, they're big, they're physical, they extend and get on hands, but they're also very, very compact and play very well to what Dylan Ward wants to see. So we're going to have to be willing to commit to, offensively getting through the middle to help create some space, create some shooting lanes. And defensively, we're going to have to match, what I just said that they do well. We need to get on hands to, not allow their shooters to shoot. And when they get inside, we got to make sure we're real physical to give Hutchie that opportunity to see the ball.
You also mentioned that this team really hasn't had a break so far this year. You've had a lot of home games earlier in the season, but after this one, you go over a month without a home game. Does that create maybe a little bit more emphasis on this one, needing a win here at home before you have some weeks off and then going on the road?
Yeah, you know what? A little more emphasis. Yeah, maybe again, being at home is someplace we always want to be at our best. Again, families are there. Our fans are there. We always want to put our best foot forward. Haven't had the results that we wanted at home. So yeah, it's something that we always strive to do is make sure we're playing our best lacrosse. And after last week, hopefully we can carry that forward and continue to play our best lacrosse.
Thanks, Coach. Have a good one.
Thanks, Griffin.
Sam, go ahead. You're just muted right now.
Oh, sorry about that. Hey, Coach. Good to talk to you.
Yep.
Coach, big signing for the Knighthawks this week, re-signing Lanchberry, Gilray, sorry. What does that mean to the team to get him extended?
You know what? That just shows what we're about. Again, we want to have our best players continue to be here. And it just shows a commitment from Matty Gilray that he believes in what we're doing here. He's not looking to go play elsewhere. We're building to win, and we're going to build to win as best as we possibly can internally. And he's a big piece of what we're doing here today and what we're going to do here tomorrow.
With him signing, does it show the type of stability that maybe will get other players to kind of feel the same way? And does it show a positive thing about showing about the positive about the organization as well?
You know what? I hope so. Outside looking in, again, I'm a guy that has been in Rochester for a very long time. I love it here. But guys outside looking in going, Rochester, like, why? And our players are our advocates. They're the ones that will help bring in other guys that if we need to fill some holes. They're our advocates. They sell what our franchise is and does and what we're all about. And having another guy believing in us and those conversations that these guys have, outside of wherever they are will help. And again, Matty Gilray is a very good player in this league. He should get a lot more recognition than he has. And again, we're thankful that he's here, and we're thankful he's going to be here for another few years.
Griffin kind of touched on some of the other questions I wanted to ask, but just going back to the Halifax game, much different game than the week prior, like you said. What does it show about your team that, especially in that situation, a little bit of a lower scoring game, and the chances that Halifax had at the end of that game with the shots and the rebounds and the opportunity to maybe tie up the game? What does it show about the team to show the resilience to be able to hold on in that situation?
Yeah, no, again, Hutchie was a wall there for us, and he made a couple of big saves, and probably one he probably shouldn't have. But you know what? Again, it's something that we said at the end of this. We had a 1918 game that we're out on the wrong side of it the week before. We're on the right side of a 10-9 game, so we can play anyway. We just got to make sure that we're, at the end of the day, when the 60-minute runs out, let's be up by one. And again, just we're hoping to carry that momentum and just that mentality that when things are not going to script per se, that if we stick with it, we're in this game and we're just going to keep competing. We're just going to battle. And at the end of 60 minutes, let's make sure we're one more on the right side.
Coach, thank you so much. I always appreciate the time.
No problem. Thanks, Sam.
Brendan or Ripper, do you guys have anything?
Hazer, I have one thing for you.
Bye-bye.
Ripper, go ahead.
How happy were you for Chad Sutton to finally get that first goal?
Really glad, and again, it's kind of got us off on the right foot there as well. I'd like say Tutsi was brought in here to be a physical presence, but he gets up the floor well, and again, hopefully that's a bit of confidence him that when he gets up at there, he's just going to again continue to do what he does, be physical in our back end, get up the floor, and you know what that driving hard shot he has. We'll start dropping a few more. We'll start dropping for him. But again, yeah, it was good to see, and I'm glad he got it.
Brendan, go ahead.
Great, thanks. Coach, we've talked a lot about Hutchie throughout the year and really the last year and a half. How have you seen his game mature over this first 8-game stretch?
Not as much up and downs as he had last year. I think at the end of the day here, there's last year there were stretches where, a couple go in, then it's going to be a couple more. This year, a couple go in. He's having the ability to rebound and not allowing too many more go in. And it just again, just his maturity, just his confidence that we trust what he's doing. We trust his process, and we believe that he's going to make that next stop for us. And that's again one thing we kind of said to him going into the game last week is just make the next save for us, and then we'll be there for us, and he did that.
And looking at the face-off action, back-to-back weeks, Sisselberger has Withers and really had a great game here in Rochester and did well up in Halifax too. Now that you've had a few games of a resume of him now, what are the positives that you've seen from Sisselberger? Obviously, other than the save percentage or the face-off percentage going up.
Yeah, no, that's a big piece of the puzzle. Obviously, that we needed to that we needed to bring into this lineup to help us there, right? But he's competitive. He's uber competitive. In every faceoff that he lost, he was angry at himself, and he was getting himself prepared to make sure he didn't lose that next one. And he battled. And you know what? There was a couple there where he outright won that we didn't come up with. And again, he's started to help guys understand to put them in spots. So he's got a comfort level of what he's doing and the guys around him. And again, he's sort of directing the traffic a little bit there as well. So he's getting comfortable with the pace of the game. It was another good battle against was there last week.
You flip it over to Kyle. You touched base on Dylan Ward a little bit earlier in this conference call. He's one of the best around. He's been doing it for over a decade. What are the things that you've seen in Dylan Ward's game that you guys really have to focus on in order to try to beat him?
You know what? The first and foremost, I think, is keep that ball moving. He plays such a high arc that if we can get that ball swinging from left to right, that it's a lot of steps that he's got to take, and again, it could open up some lanes for some skips and such like that where we can hopefully get him. But yeah, that's the biggest part is keep the ball moving. Trying to play that finesse game, and again, we got a scouting report on him where we think he's at his weakest. But at the same time, these guys got to be lacrosse players, and if they see their shot, hit their shot. But the biggest part for us is keep that ball moving because again, the more he's got to go from side to side, the tougher it's going to be for him to get himself square. Because if he's square, the way he plays and plays so high in that crease, it's tough to get by him.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach.
Well, thanks.